Thank you. For more, I'm now joined by Rich Rubino, political analyst and author of the Great American Political Trivia Challenge. Thanks so much for taking the time this morning, Rich. We've all been so focused on Chicago, right? The White House has been so zeroed in on Chicago. What did you make of this potential pivot to New Orleans instead?
Well, it's very interesting. They're a lot more hospitable. At least the leaders in the state of New Orleans are. Certainly, Governor Landry is one that's very much says that he would support it. Senator Bill Cassidy, who has been a critic of Trump in the past and actually voted for the second impeachment, the second conviction of President Trump, has said that he would support it. Mike Johnson, interestingly, who's Speaker of the House, who represents a district that includes Shreveport, Louisiana, which does have a crime problem, has indicated that he's very kind of unequivocally said essentially that's not my call. So I think it'd just be interesting to see him doing this potentially in a state that is a lot more hospitable than certainly Illinois.
Yeah, and let me play a bit of sound for you more on this, because here was President Trump talking about that thought process in going to Louisiana instead.
We have a great thing going. I could do that with Chicago. We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago, or do we go to a place like New Orleans, where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite tough, quite bad.
Yeah, and to your point, Rich, more hospitable there. New Orleans obviously has a Democrat mayor, but it's a Republican-led state. Does this potential pivot signal a strategy to you that Trump maybe wanted some more, goodwill in his corner, some more good press on his side on this?
Yes, I certainly think he wants to do something that has the sympathies, if you will, of the governor and of the political establishment of the state. Obviously, the state of Louisiana, like other states, there are blue cities within a red area, but it's something that potentially, I think, could potentially embarrass people in more conservative parts of the country, because they would say that they tended to say, why don't we put them in these blue cities? But then they say, well, okay, we'll put them in red cities. We'll put them in the Democratic areas as well. But obviously, it's a very interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, and his rhetoric also just in the Oval Office seemed to change yesterday. Softened a little bit, I thought, talking about Governor Pritzker. He said, if the governor would call me up, I'd love to do it. I'd love to help out. He's obviously not going to get that phone call from Governor Pritzker. Do you think he's changing his mind on this at all?
No, I think a lot of this is more for political theater, probably on both sides. The governor of Illinois, obviously, is a prospective presidential candidate in 2028. And if you're running in the Democratic primary, you want to do everything you possibly can to try to be opposed to Donald Trump and Donald Trump's administration. Obviously, they're very unpopular within the Democratic Party. And I think Donald Trump, obviously, it's political theater to him as well. But I think it was interesting he did not say we're going to go in full throttle. We're going to go in, and I have plenipotentiary powers to put the troops in. He was a little bit more equivocal, which is not the standard operating procedure for Donald Trump.
Just before I let you go, Rich, what do you make of the Democrats' fight against this? The president just pounding home the message of, I'm mitigating crime, I'm making your city safer. What do you make of Democrats being so vehemently against this? Is that going to backfire?
I don't think so. I think it's kind of the bifurcation where we are politically. Laura Kelly, the governor of Kansas, a very red state, but she's a blue governor who's not seeking re-election in 2026. She's kind of led this movement. Andy Beshear, a potential presidential candidate, the vice chair of the DGA, is one as well. But I think it's just kind of the typical kind of partisan back and forth we've really seen in what is really one of the most divisive times in American history.
Rich Rubino, I got to end it there, but thank you as always for taking the time early in the morning.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Have a good one. You got it.